We're the Archery Twins, and you're listening to the Hall of Mears podcast.
So we have JC and Randy joining us today out of Alberta, Canada. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So JC's the biologist that was out checking out some mountain goats, and she happened to come across a grizzly bear, and I'm going to let you tell that story. I know you don't want to go into emotions and everything, but I was trying to figure out, you said that you had made contact with it, but you didn't say exactly what happened. Can you give us a rundown?
Yeah. So we have different lookout points where we survey our mountain goats over top of particular cliffs. So I was heading to the top of a hill where I could see cliff 2B, and I was just cresting the very top of it. And literally as soon as I got to the top and poked my head up, there was a grizzly bear standing over a killed mountain goat. At that point, we were super close. I was probably between 10 to 20 yards away, and immediately walked up on his food. So he's gonna react defensively and lunged at me. And I hadn't even registered that it was a bear, to be honest. I just saw something massive come towards me. And I kind of tucked my leg up in a fetal-ish position to protect my torso. And he caught me in the leg and pushed me onto the ground. I kind of went flying, and then was immediately on top of me. And he put one paw on my pelvis and was leaning down to, I could smell his breath. He was leaning down into my face. And I keep my bear spray right here, and my knife was right here as well. But anyone who knows, bear sprays have a little bit more clasps to them, so you don't accidentally detonate them.
Right. I
was I don't have time to reach my bear spray. So there's no clasp or anything on my knife. It's just a quick pull holster. So I grabbed my knife off my bino harness and just went like this. And as he was leaning in, I caught him in the neck, shoulder-ish area. And he backed away and took a few steps and was like, whoa, what was that?
Okay.
And at that point, I was
you shaped the grizzly bear.
Yeah. Yeah. And then at that point, I was able to grab my bear spray, and I was still laying back, and I detonated it in his face. He was probably 2 meters away at that point. And he ran away. I was probably still holding it for a while. I was honestly just releasing all the bear
at that point, right? Yeah, you're definitely kind of in a shock at that point.
Yeah. And then I stood up, and I was just attacked by a bear. That was a grizzly. I need to get out of here. I could see the mountain goat right behind where he had gotten away. So I ran back in the direction that I had come from because I knew that it was safe down there. And I got to the bottom of the hill, and I looked down, and where he had contacted me on my leg, my pants were just shredded. And there was quite a bit of blood and stuff. And I know it's not rational at the time because I was running and whatnot, but I was my leg is totally screwed. It's done. That was a bear. So yeah. Oh my gosh, there it is. Wow.
Okay, so did he swipe at you?
So as he made contact and I kind of went backwards, I think his claws just kind of dug as I fell. But they're not super sharp claws. They're grizzlies don't attack typically with their claws. They kill their prey with their incisors. So claws are meant for digging, and so they're not they're pretty blunt instruments to really cut somebody open, which I'm pretty thankful for. But I looked down and I was I need to call help right away. I got my satellite phone out and called my coworker who was on the other side of the canyon. He was 16 or so kilometers away, give or take, and he ran towards me. And then I started cleaning it up, and I was okay, this is not that bad. It's pretty reasonable for a bear attack. I can walk out of here. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna live. But I was my coworker's on his way. If that had happened to him and he moved, I would be super duper upset with him if I couldn't find him. So I just stayed put and I took a few breaths and tried to calm the crazy adrenaline running through me and waited.
Can I stop you for 1 second? Let me bring you back. You're talking to a city guy here. So I really appreciate what you do. And I'm trying to just wrap my mind around how large is a grizzly bear? I don't mean for that to be like, if that's an odd question. I'm curious. Are you talking the size of like a Volkswagen Beetle?
Yeah,
800 pounds?
that's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm like, a really big one's like the size of a Volkswagen punch buggy.
Okay.
She said punch buggy.
Okay.
That's so awesome.
But okay. I'm interested in more of your job is to look over mountain goats insofar as like check the populations and migration movements.
So there's a really sensitive population that lives in a valley in Alberta, and it's the only like canyon dwelling mountain goats in North America. So they have a pretty rough time surviving. Nobody really knows how they got there. Like they think it could have been a freak storm and some wandered off and wound up in the middle of nowhere in these cliffs. But we're really interested in their population numbers. And so we survey them almost every 2 weeks, every summer for many, many years. We've been tracking their progress.
Okay. So let me ask you, what is a day in your life consist of without a grizzly bear attack? So I'm really interested in that dynamic insofar as you're a biologist, correct?
Yes.
And so what's your normal day-to-day kind of consist of?
Most of the time, writing papers and reports in the office of what I see every like hour in the field, like 4 hours reporting.
Sure.
But I'm actually a wetlands specialist. I mean, I'm great at wildlife too. I have lots of other skills, but I typically do wetland assessments for development. So if anyone is building a subdivision or anything like that, I typically will go out and check if there's any sensitive species and sensitive habitat and seeing what should be kept and what is okay to develop. But we've had this long-standing contract for a really long time, and even though I'm typically the wetland girl in my office, I'm really good in the field. So I also go on any wildlife excursions that they need more than one person to go on.
And not only are you a wetland specialist,
I gotta show your guys' Instagram. I'm sorry, because it's just so badass.
So not only are you a wetland specialist, you are also a weapons specialist now.
That's what I thought she said at first. I'm like, wait a second.
And it's not too far off.
Yeah.
The mark here. So
yeah, we like bows a lot.
Okay.
If we can with bows, I mean, we do have a few rifles in our inventory, but
sure. And knives, obviously, right?
Just a couple. Just a couple.
So that's what I was gonna ask. So is it normal to go out and survey by yourself?
Typically not, depending on the survey. But these routes are like really well defined. We've been doing them for honestly a really long time. Like we've gone on hundreds of goat surveys. There's never been any problem, and we go out in groups of 3, so we're not really alone. Like one person takes the bottom portion of the canyon, one takes the middle, and one takes the very north end. So in that sense, like we're still close enough that if anything happened, like thank gosh it wasn't really fatal, because it took Joe, I mean, he was amazing. He pretty much ran a marathon to get to me, but it took him a little while to get there.
How far was he away from you?
16 kilometers, give or take.
Kilometers. So if we're translating that into miles,
give me the converter app.
10-ish miles.
Yeah, 10-ish.
Ish. That's without me doing math here.
I'll do the math right now. Hold on. No, that's so interesting. You said 16 kilometers?
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely close to 10.
Yeah.
I think well, a kilometer I think it is equal to 1 mile.
It's
So,
definitely not.
Nope.
no, it's not. Well, see,
That's
that's why I live in America.
kilometers is 1 mile.
Okay.
So yeah, 10 miles.
Well, what I was gonna say is you guys are probably gonna have
Wow.
some new like work instructions to make about not going out alone.
Yeah, we honestly have an incredible safety program. Like they put me through a ton of training to do my job, and I definitely attribute some of me surviving that incident to being properly trained and knowing what to do. But yeah, there's been a lot of things where my boss is just like, hey, if you could go back and you wish you had something on you, like what would it be? Like we'll make sure you have it for the future forever. So
Yeah, let's face it though, Randy. This young lady isn't sissified like
She's a
us.
badass. Hell
Right,
no.
she's a badass.
Hey, did you get it back, by the way?
my knife,
Yeah.
yeah, I held on to it. Like I had
I know, but you said
iron
that
knuckles on that.
no, but you said that they had kept it for investigation.
Oh yeah.
No,
So
she
yeah,
doesn't.
Fish and Wildlife does DNA testing whenever there's incidents like this, so that if they catch another bear, they can check if it has a habit of attacking humans. So if they're trying to get DNA off my knife, and then they'll give it back when they're done.
So did this happened relatively in a recent amount of time, correct?
Oh, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, this is really.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, my
when
gosh.
I don't know how I came across
Okay.
your story,
I
but I was
gonna-
like, holy shit.
Yeah, because
I'm
I was going to ask
messaging.
if there was any data back on the bear yet, but definitely not within 2 weeks.
What did his breath smell like?
Rotten. Like very, it smelled like forgetting to clean your deer and finding it in the spring. Like, yeah, it was gross.
So what do you think? Do you think he was just curious since he didn't like actually maul you per se? Like, do you think he's an adolescent?
Well, see, it's kind of hard because defensive attacks, like you're typically what they say. I mean, there isn't a formula. It's a bear. You do what you can.
Yeah.
But they typically say if it's a defensive attack, you play dead because they're not looking to eat you. They're just looking to make sure you're no longer a threat. But I was not willing to let him put his mouth on me.
Right.
So I didn't play dead.
So awesome. I still can't get my head around you shanking a bear.
Yeah, me either, to be honest. There wasn't a lot of thought. It was literally instinct, I think.
Your fight or flight kicks in, right? You had no option but to fight at that point. So, I'm looking at you. You're a petite young lady. I'm sure that bear's head encompassed you basically from shoulders up of you. The head was probably massive.
Yeah, well, I can remember its one paw being on me and how painful it was. Like I don't know how much of his weight was on me. It probably wasn't that much because it was only one paw, but I could not move at all. Like I couldn't wriggle free from his paw. And that was when it was really like, oh my gosh, like he's got me. I can't run away. There is no flight in this circumstance. There's only fight.
Right.
So Randy, what's up?
Just sitting here. It's funny because you guys were talking about how she's a badass and not many people would survive it, and we joke about
Randy
it. I would have died
for sure.
I don't know. Okay, so
I would have been dead.
now hang on a second. So I'm gonna edit in your Instagram post. You're a badass too. Don't lie. I see you with like your bows and you got like an AR. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, she's a total boss bitch, but
I would have died.
What were you gonna say?
No, I'm dead. I mean, that bear looks at me. I'm cradling.
I thought you were
into a
gonna
fetal
hit me or
position.
something.
No,
I
I'm
caught
just
you.
like cradle into a fetal position. I'm just
Oh.
giving up at that point. There's no fight, flight. He's got me.
Oh, Mike hasn't seen your Instagram yet, so he's fresh on the story. But I was just looking through, like, what did you just get, an elk?
Yeah, we got an elk. Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
See, I'm once again city guy. What do you do with the elk once you get it?
Yeah, I want to know what you cut from that, how many pounds you got, and how long that's going to last.
Okay, so we got it, and then
We gutted it in the field.
yeah, because you want to get it out right away, otherwise it starts floating.
And where we are, like we hunt on private property, so a lot of people do the gutless method where they like take the quarters off and then leave like the skeleton and stuff behind in the field. But because we're on private property and there's also bears there, they don't like attracting more predators, so they prefer us to take everything but the guts out. So yeah, we gutted it in the field, and then we're super spoiled, and we didn't have to pack it out because our friend has a side by side.
Okay.
So we hiked back to the ranch and said, we should milk. And,
That's awesome.
and he goes, wow, way to go, girls. And, helped us, put us in the side by side. And we'd like to say we loaded it into the back, but it was probably a 20-70 effort with a very strong man.
Yeah.
And then
And you
we
probably fed them too.
They have more wild game than they know what to do with. They're
Wow.
they're good.
We'd offer it and they say no because
Yeah.
they have so much extra meat over there.
I'm gonna have to figure out a way that you can dry ice us some cuts.
Yeah, it's very illegal to ship
Is it
meat,
illegal?
fruit, vet, and any stuff
He's
like
he's
that
trying to get you
across the
guys
border.
indicted.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
trying to get you guys put in jail. And I've never had elk. I
See, you're gonna educate us right
I
now.
don't have a.
Yeah, it's actually illegal to sell any wild game, even if it's not across the border, unless it's like
Wow. So
Far-
all these places, all these butcher boxes, and all these places, they're all, what's the word I'm looking
They're
for?
not- that's
They're
not-
all livestock.
Yes, that's all
Yeah.
livestock. That's not.
Yeah.
like I don't fully know about America, so but like Canada, Alberta, I know you have to have licenses to sell wild game. So
Wow.
Yeah.
So how's that work? So do you guys process the meat yourself then?
the elk we didn't.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
a lot, and we had to come back
Yeah.
and go to work. But we've processed all of our deer, and we would
Yeah.
have processed the elk if we were down there.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what's the environment like under COVID and hunting and getting your meat processed? Is it harder to get into butchers and whatnot to get your cuts?
Not really.
No?
We go to a pretty small town, local area, so yeah, there's more wide open space than we know what to do with. So people
Okay,
are,
since we're having fun, I'm gonna start picking at you guys.
Okay.
Okay, I want to know how you guys fell in love with hunting and learned your skills. Is this a family thing? This is what I want to know because I'm just totally impressed.
So actually, this journey started probably 2 years ago. I didn't know her, and I met her through dating her roommate.
Oh.
And
ditched the
then
roommate.
we ditched the roommate,
I kept her.
and we stayed together.
Pretty awesome.
I used to think I was a small town girl, but I was more city because of university and everything.
She's like small town by like 10,000 people, which isn't a small town, but
Okay.
that's fine. That's okay.
10,000 people? That's a small town
Yeah.
for America.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
our small
I know,
town.
right? So I thought I was a small town, and then she comes along, and I realized I know nothing about small towns. And then she had her bow from hanging out.
yeah, the boyfriend bought me a bow because he
Yeah.
thought it would be a really good idea, something for us to do together. And,
And you were better than him.
actually, no, he's so good, but I'm cuter, so whatever.
I'm gonna
But,
I'm
yeah.
gonna do a PSA really quick to all the men that are watching the show. Please do not teach your women how to use deadly weapons. And if you're not going to treat them right, let me put that
Yeah.
caveat in. So
Yeah.
I'm very impressed. Yeah, keep going.
Keep going. I'm blown away. I'm enjoying this.
So then she let me shoot her bow, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun, and just bought a super cheap little compound APA Viper bow, and we started shooting and thought nothing of it. We have like a friends TAC group because we couldn't make it down to America to do the Total Archery Challenge. So we did like a friends thing up in Alberta, and we thought nothing of it. And then we started shooting more seriously, like a few times a week. And
let's go hunting. Hunting season's in like 2 weeks. Let's do it. And then it was a scramble with all of our friends telling us what to buy. And they're like, you're going to need broadheads, you're going to need a pack, you're going to need. And so we went out and got all of our stuff, and she bought a much better bow.
Yeah. And
the rest is history.
We started our Instagram, and that was a year ago.
Wow.
That's so awesome.
They have so much content on there, though. I can't believe it's only been a year.
Yeah, that's been only a year.
Yeah.
How many kills?
Last year was 2.
Yeah.
This year has been 2.
So
last
far.
year,
There's
so
gonna
far.
be more.
We're taking up
yeah.
this year.
Holy smokes.
So can I ask, because you guys are hunters, what would have happened if you killed the bear when you stabbed it? And I understand that it's probably way too thick around the neck that it could take that puncture wound. But if you were able to kill that bear, what happens to the bear then after that? Is it your bear?
No. So grizzlies are protected in Alberta. They're not hunted. So I would have reported it to Fish and Wildlife, and they would have come out and probably seized the animal and done whatever they do with self-defense attacks like that.
And to the best of your knowledge, the bear is still wandering. Have they located the bear?
I actually don't know. I haven't heard. I don't know if I will, but I think it's closed knowledge. I mean, I wish I knew, but I don't think so. They're pretty chunky, and my knife is actually pretty small.
Okay. So
I have to show Mike this. Hang on, just watch this right here. Watch this, because you haven't seen this yet.
What are you watching?
She hit that. I don't know how do you pronounce it. Is it a grouse or a grouse?
Grouse.
A grouse.
Grouse.
Yeah.
So that's like the size of a pheasant in America.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
And
same.
you hit it from like 30 yards plus with a bow.
A little bit closer, but yeah.
And it just, you see it fly, and then boom, it's it.
I'm officially never going to piss you guys off.
That's amazing.
So we are going to continue to treat you with dignity, courtesy, and respect, because I'm fairly certain you could hit us with a bow from Canada from here.
So a lot of people watch like Joe Rogan and see his hunting stuff and watch meat eaters. Like, just go to Archery Twins Instagram if you want some real good stuff.
We are obsessed with meat eater, so that's a pretty bomb compliment.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, look at this. Look at her with her. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I wish you guys could see what I'm looking at right now, but you guys lived it.
Yeah, which post are you looking at?
I'm looking at your AR with the scope.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not an AR.
They're very illegal here.
Yeah, not a thing.
What is it?
It's a SIG cross.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
But it's pretty dope.
It's got like that
It's a bolt.
the M-lock rail on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually sweet because it folds up, so it is really light and it fits in my pack, and it's not hard for me to pack around during rifle season.
So what caliber is it?
It's a 6.5 Creedmoor bolt action.
Yep.
Oh.
That's good stuff right there.
So what were you hunting?
That I was just target shooting.
Oh, target shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were sighting in our rifles.
So hang on a second. AR is illegal.
Yeah.
But this is legal. This is bigger.
Yeah, it's a bolt action though.
It's because it's not
semi
automatic.
Yeah.
Semi-automatic versus bolt action.
Mhm.
Still has a high capacity magazine. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't even make any sense to me. It's so stupid.
Well,
It's got 5 round eggs.
Yeah, 5 round egg. Yeah, Canada's got its rules. Respect
I
the
know,
rules,
I
man.
know.
It's lots to shoot a deer with.
Yeah.
They don't
You just
even
need
need
one
they don't
bullet.
even need a rifle.
Yeah.
Don't need a
Yeah.
rifle. All he needs is a knife.
It's just a knife, right?
We were actually joking with our friends because they were going out like the weekend after I got attacked. And they're like, oh, like we don't know how we're gonna keep up with you guys. And we're like, well, like you do realize you're gonna have to kill an elk with your bare hands now. Like that's
And
the
like,
only
and like
way
wipe
you
the
possibly
blood.
compete
Just,
with
right.
me. Yeah. Like, sorry, but I've already won hunting season, so
and then
Yeah.
remove the heart and take a bite.
yikes.
Like
I
dances
can't
with
get-
wolves.
I can't get over the scenery of where you guys hunt at or live. I feel so like neglected in life. That it's just
We are
beautiful where you guys
very
are at.
fortunate
Yeah.
and very spoiled to be in Alberta.
Mhm.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Randy, am I wrong? Do I hear French Canadian?
No.
No. What do I hear? I hear.
I don't know.
Canadian?
Yeah, it's definitely Canadian. Yeah, but I just thought I heard a little French in there, like a. But no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mom is actually on the French side.
But we don't
So-
speak French.
But I know a little bit of French, but it has definitely not. Yeah.
I play that game whenever I tell Mike all the
Translating.
time. Anywhere I go, I try to listen to just to see where people are from. Like in America, I can pinpoint exactly where people are from. But
And I
Got
just,
it wrong
I just,
again.
I don't care. No, you know, JC, I would be like, yeah, you're from the Midwest. There's not much of a dialect to you. Randy, you definitely have. I haven't heard I haven't heard in a boot yet.
Yeah,
so
no
I was
boots.
waiting for that
or A's.
or A's. So,
Yeah. I don't know anyone that says a boot. That's
No,
more of
that's
an,
actually America. That's northern Michigan.
yeah, and that's more of an Easterner thing too. I think people in Ontario maybe say that, but
That's
I don't want to
And
offend.
that's North Dakota and Minnesota and Upper Peninsula.
I don't know. We probably sound weird. So
Oh yeah, no, we have the Chicago, the super fast. I get that all. No matter where I go, they're like, "Oh, you're from Chicago." Yes, I am.
Do you think I talk fast? I don't think I talk fast. Ladies, do you think I talk fast?
Yes, you do.
no.
See,
uh,
fine.
it's not fast. I understand it. I've talked to faster talkers, but it's not slow.
Oh, well, thank you, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's talk. And once again, we never know where this podcast is going to spin to.
That's her trail cam.
Oh, there's a trail cam with that. That's a big ass bear. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second, ladies.
Oh yeah,
That's a grizzly.
Yeah, that's.
Grizzly bear.
So are these Are they considered Kodiak grizzlies, or are they just
No.
brown bears?
So Kodiaks actually originate from like Kodiak Island. They were separated from the mainland, so they're actually their own like subpopulation. They might I don't know
Sorry,
if
Mike,
they're
I was pointing up like the island up.
Oh, yeah. I was
Sorry.
looking at
Yeah.
all you pointed at.
No.
they're maybe their own species by now. Brown bears are classified as having habitat along the coast. So when their primary diet is seafood, they're brown bears. Grizzly bears are terrestrial.
See, you learn something new
That's so
every
amazing.
day.
I'm looking at the head on this freaking thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
That was
very
a-
large.
that's a big grizzly.
So in a former life, I was a police canine officer, and I had a 120-pound German Shepherd, and I thought that thing had a monster of a head.
That sucker right there, that's got to be 800 pounds.
It's got to be more
Yeah,
than that.
At
Right?
least.
What'd you call it? A Volkswagen what?
Slug bug or a
punch
punch
buggy.
wagon.
A
Or
punch
punch
buggy.
buggy.
Punch buggy.
Punch, but I gotta write it down.
Yeah.
You guys do
Have you
that?
never
Yeah, do you
heard
punch
that
each other when you
We
see
do.
that?
We do. But we say slug bug.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's punch buggy up here.
Yeah.
Or if it has a wooden panel, we say woody.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Or one headlight, and you got to yell "perdiddle," and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
if you see someone with one headlight, then you punch somebody.
Yeah.
I also like, and I introduced it with my son, called the Cadillac whack. Every time we see a Cadillac, you just smack them.
That's because you
Any
sort of,
excuse to abuse
Yeah,
your child.
any reason to be abusive. Sorry, Nolan. I love you.
So your other podcast is probably way more detailed as far as hunting, and they knew what they
It
were
was
talking about,
super
right?
formal.
Was
And
it?
I wasn't part of it.
Yeah.
She just
I
Oh.
was stressed. I was super duper stressed. Like, this is much chiller.
We had a Army captain that was on here, and she actually said it best. She's like, a podcast should be like a fly on the wall to just a cool conversation. And that really kind of resonated with me because that's what we kind of envisioned. Let's just talk. I don't know where it's going to go. You know, we there's a reason you're on the show. We found something cool to talk about, but who knows? I want to get to know you guys, and hopefully you guys are entertained enough to not just hit click and sorry, screw you guys, we're out.
This is what I want to do.
That's ice fishing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We love ice fishing.
What do you?
We're
She had I thought in one picture I saw she had a rainbow trout.
negative.
No, it's
Just
only been
hike.
hike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Northern. That's right. Hang on, I
Yeah.
gotta find it. Maybe I was watching something else and pulled up.
Yeah, this is kind of wild. I feel like I'm in a different world just looking at these photos. It's just so amazing.
Like I grew up in the country. We consider it the country where we like farm corn and beans, and there's like nothing but white-tailed deer and pheasant. That's our wilderness. That's all we have. We have
That's
coyote
cute.
and fox.
yeah,
No other predator. We just started getting bald eagles again.
Yeah.
I
I
hadn't
grew
seen
up
them
in
in
an area where like cougars lived in our treehouse. So
like mountain lion cougar.
yeah. And like you kept a shotgun at the front door, and like, cause in the mornings you'd wake up to like the cougar chasing your dog.
Are you serious? Holy crap! Like they like crack your skull with one bite.
what cougars?
Yeah, it's insane. Like I know LA has a problem with mountain lions and like hikers on trails and stuff, but they just cohabitat like it's no big
Why do
deal.
they call older women cougars?
They're feisty.
And
Mike just had to throw that in there.
No, it just popped in my mind.
So holy shit, you
anyway.
really had a mountain lion in your treehouse.
Yeah.
Do they really make those crazy like blood curdling screams? Like I was
Yeah,
watching.
Our mountain lions are wild. Like they're very wild. I'm not very like they're still a predator for sure. You still have to be careful, but like it's not like California where they're taking down people on the trails. They
Yeah,
typically
well, that's because they have nowhere to go, right? They don't.
yeah, they typically like to avoid you and just
Run
live their
away.
best life.
But they're always watching you, right?
Oh yeah.
They're
We had a
always
dog
around.
that was really she was incredible because you could always tell when there was a cougar around. Because when there wasn't, she would be like running around the cattle and the horses and stuff. And when there was, she would be glued beside my dad's horse at all times. So he could always tell that there was a cougar in the vicinity. He'd
All
always
right,
try
tell me, what did mom and dad do? I have to know this.
They when I was really, really little, they had a ranch. And then we moved into a town of 3,000-ish people. And then mom was a teacher's assistant and dad was a salesman. It's
That's
pretty
cool.
yeah, it's pretty
I
basic.
mean, have you like traced both of you guys? Have you traced your like ancestry?
I'm a mutt. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I know I'm Polish, Ukrainian, and French.
That's so awesome. I'm Polish and German.
Yeah.
This he's Italian.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just to see
Forget
where they're
about it.
at in Canada, like in the
No.
smack dab in the middle of Canada.
No,
It's
that's
just-
amazing. I don't know. I'm almost ashamed. I don't know all that much about Canada. Like, what
We
is it?
get a lot of messages in our DMs being like, "You guys live in igloos? Like,
Well, yeah.
oh, you guys like can't shoot any guns up there." And I'm like, "No,
Gun
we
laws
all
doesn't
own a
mean-
lot of guns. Everyone owns a lot of guns around here." Like,
Well,
It's
no,
just-
I'm not that naive to think you guys still live in like huts and bush people and whatnot. I'm sure there's areas because of the remoteness that there are those type of people. But insofar as politics in Canada, you're under the crown. Is that correct? The England
symbolically,
correct.
it doesn't have any Yeah.
Right.
Is
And
that all of Canada though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah, symbolically. But then you've got Trudeau, Prime
Yeah.
Minister, right?
Yes.
Okay, see.
You know that. That's good.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh
know
no, we know
just
that.
enough to make
Yeah.
up something. So,
Yeah, my Canadian history is horrible.
yeah, it is. All right. So, what's the most interesting thing to do in Alberta where you guys are at besides hunt?
Where we're
We're like,
at,
what?
I
Where we
mean,
are,
there's lots of lakes and forests and
Yeah.
stuff. But if you head west, the Rocky Mountains are right there. So that's always spectacular. That's
Wait.
where
Tell us about the stars.
Yes.
oh
We're
yeah.
gonna ask you some weird questions, all right? Because we're so deprived from like light pollution.
oh yeah,
Yeah, they're pretty spectacular.
they're pretty great.
We take it for granted, I think. I mean, they're beautiful. What
So
else?
you
would
have
they-
like the northern lights and
so it's not typical that we get them normally around August is the highest time where they'll migrate down to the Edmonton area. But if you go northern in Alberta, you get a lot more northern lights that you can see. But sometimes like in August when they're really strong, they'll come all the way down to like southern Alberta and stuff.
okay, so you have lived in, we'll call it the middle of nowhere because for us it kind of is, for your whole lives. Have you seen any crazy shit, like unexplainable stuff in the sky?
No.
In the sky.
No.
He's asking if you saw UFOs.
No sky people.
Because we have a debate going on right now whether UFOs exist or not, and it's that's a totally different podcast. So I don't want to go far off the rails. He was just asking if you ever saw UFO. He's trying to prove me wrong.
I just want to know.
I've
No.
seen a lot of comets, a lot of asteroids.
Satellites.
Wow.
Yeah.
I took an astronomy class in university. That was pretty bomb. Saw lots of cool things in the sky, but
Oh,
Yeah.
no UFOs yet.
Not that you know of.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless it looks like a satellite
Yeah.
or a comet.
Yeah.
So you have internet, obviously. Have you
Yeah.
have you looked into and have you seen in the sky Starlink? You know what Starlink
Yeah.
is? Yeah. It's
we
pretty
have
awesome.
Starlink.
Do you? I was gonna
Well, we don't, but like we do in Alberta, and our friend has
Yeah, our
it.
friend has it.
We actually, not too long ago, there was a row of about 15. We actually saw going past our subdivision of them getting launched out. That was pretty cool to watch.
I got the app so I can track them, but as many as there are, they're still hard to find, especially light pollution.
Do they have Teslas in Canada?
Yeah.
They
Get out of
do.
here.
There's just not the charging stations are in more of like the bigger cities.
He makes fun of me.
So people won't have the charging stations in the small towns or
Clarison has some.
actually
Yeah, my small town
Wow.
has some.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
step up there.
So what kind of vehicles do you drive? I'm assuming you guys are pickup truck gals.
no, I feel like you guys think we live in like the like absolute boonies. Like we live in the city, and then
Okay. You just go hunting in the boonies.
But hang on,
Yeah.
you said it was 10,000 people.
If you
she grew up there, but like we
Yeah.
currently live just outside of Edmonton, which
Oh,
which
got it.
is
like a
almost
million.
a million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got hockey.
I
We
used
have
to
everything.
Yeah, if you scroll down to one of our whitetail buck last year, that was my car. It was a 2003 Chrysler Sebring,
You don't
and-
have to tell us. You know.
Oh no, this is
No,
the
no.
best story.
and the whitetail buck was probably about 200.
He was a monster.
He was big. The meat was like 200 pounds.
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
probably like 250, 300. And we weren't very strong. So we tried lifting him up into the trunk of my Chrysler Sebring and couldn't. So we tried for like a half an hour, tried with the pulley system, tried.
That's some boss shit right
Yeah,
there.
That's
I
Yeah.
made him get on all fours, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna put it on your back." And once it's on your back, it's halfway there. Then let's somehow
We'll
get
just
it into the trunk.
Get into the trunk. That didn't work. So after half an hour of trying, I paused and she pauses and she's like, "We're never gonna get this." And I look at her And I say, JC, if we wrap that buck up in a tarp so the blood doesn't get on my seats, we can put it in my back seat. So
Wow.
we wrapped it up and drug it into the back seat of the car.
And there's a video on our
And
Instagram.
fresh deer has some stank to it. It has a very distinct smell.
It was winter. It was pretty cold,
Yeah.
so it stayed pretty frozen.
It was like minus 30 degrees Celsius.
And we also drove with the windows down.
Oh, my wife's family, they're all hunters. And I actually have 2 kills to my name.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Both by vehicular deer slaughter, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wow.
One was at like 60 miles an hour, and it was just immediate. And
Take the deer?
Yeah. Yeah, just ran. I mean, it happened in slow motion. Like, I'm doing 60, I saw it, and all I could say was, please don't jump, please don't jump. And for whatever reason, every time they want to just run in your car.
Yeah.
And he just, boom. I mean, everything, airbags, everything.
Was that in your Tesla?
No, that was in my Mustang.
Oh.
And then
That sucks.
It's rough. I'm sorry.
it was but you know what's funny? My father-in-law that's what he does for a living, is body repair paint. So airbags are $1,000 a piece. This happened in like 2006.
Okay.
I taped my airbags shut. I cut them out, taped my airbags shut, repaired my Mustang, and drove it for 200,000 miles.
Wow.
And then I got another one. I got a Tesla a couple years ago, and I had my car for 6 months. And 6 of them jumped out in front of me. They jumped over my car, except the last guy. It was like a cartoon. He hit the brakes. He hit the brakes on all 4 hooves, like out in front to stop, and slid. And his head hit my front corner panel, and I ran over his head.
Oh. Oof.
Yeah. It was bad.
Quick death.
That's how we hunt around here, I guess.
So the first time I killed a deer, I called, because if technically if you just leave it, it's illegal. And I made the call, and someone, local family, came and got it and cleaned it up. Obviously ate it, what they did. But the second one, it was like 5 a.m. here, and it was pitch black. And I was on a very busy road, and I couldn't see where it went. I had no idea where it was. So I don't know what happened to it.
Maybe it lived. I don't know. Maybe
Did
you only
that
got one.
second one total your vehicle too?
Oh, I got so lucky. It did some damage, but you couldn't even tell.
Oh, nice.
It broke like some brackets behind the headlight and dented my fender a little bit. But
Well, you got it fixed pretty quick.
I didn't fix it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Never fixed it.
All right. Must have been a small deer. Nothing like the
No, I just
whitetails you guys kill out
he
there.
hit the brakes in his head. Like, he went over his hooves, and his head just came out just enough where I hit it, and then I ran over it because all the fur got stuck in between the tire and the rim.
Okay.
It was weird.
Yeah, I don't like talking about that.
No, I don't. And I respect you guys. Like, hunting is so important, and I honestly think it should be a class. I think everybody should know how to do it, but I guess I have to get over taking an animal. Like, I just have to go do it. It's the thought that
I think if you eat meat,
yeah, I do.
you should know where it comes from. And if
I
you
know.
just-
I would. That's what I'm saying. It's something I would like to start. My son is he's going to be 11,
Mhm.
and I would love to go do it.
Yeah.
Go get some instruction. Go out and do it. Yeah.
I know a whole bunch of people who are like, "You girls hunt?" Like, oh my gosh, that's so terrible.
Oh no, I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
But we're like, "Do you eat meat?" Because that's a little bit questionable on your behalf. So
That's correct.
I have nothing against hunters. I just don't have a desire to do so. I enjoy eating meat. that's I like it cooked. I don't want to necessarily be the one field stripping it to make my own patty.
Yeah.
It doesn't come in burger form originally, I don't think. Don't cut out the burger.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. So I try to eat as healthy as I can, especially like having autoimmune diseases and stuff, and just thinking about where American beef comes from. And we have like one of the largest dairy farms in all of America, like 30 minutes south of us. It's really disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would love to create those memories and bonding with my son and my daughter.
Sure.
Yeah. I wasn't actually like that interested in hunting before I went to like school for ecology, and then the whole like actual learning about like wildlife management and population control came into it. And then because before I thought like, oh, hunting's just like for consumerism, like it's just another industry. But no, it really matters to an ecosystem, and if it's not properly done, like it can really mess the whole environment up. So
Sure.
I'm all for hunting now.
Yeah, I wasn't into hunting at all, ever. I didn't think about it once
And
until
now you're a badass.
Until JC
Yeah.
walked into your life.
Now you're a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
I was like, here's a bow. Let's go shoot something.
And I was like, I don't know if I can shoot something. You can shoot it first. And then
It didn't
Yeah,
take long,
no.
and she was like, yeah, I can totally
I
peg
can do
thing, no
this.
problem.
That's so awesome.
So before we finish up, have you ever had like that experience? Like, I know it's like sensationalized in some movies, like when you take like an elk's life and you like have like this experience with the animal. Do you ever, you know what I'm talking about?
We're like, people talk about buck fever all the time, where they get like an animal in front of them and get their bows drawn, and then all of a sudden like their heart's pounding and they're just like and we're both really calm. Like,
I guess I meant like the circle of life feeling, like this buck or this animal knows you took its life and you're gonna consume it, like one of those spiritual, you know what I'm talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I do,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, that's
but,
like it. Like, see, I watched too many movies.
So
Yeah.
I think what he's saying is like you're aiming up for the kill.
No,
You
I'm
make
not.
eye-
That's
well,
not
stop,
even what I'm
stop. No,
talking about.
You make eye contact with this animal, and like for some moment you mind meld with this animal, and that's the circle of life. that
Yeah,
counts,
similar.
right?
Yeah, I guess.
See,
Yeah.
I understand you a little bit. The simple answer is
No.
probably no, right?
Like, no, no.
Okay.
No.
well, so for the buck last year,
Casey's just
that
like
was
this. Like, no.
for the whitetail buck last year. It was the first animal I was around when it died,
Okay.
and like your first animal is definitely not what you expect.
Sure.
I didn't feel like anything super spiritual, but I did take a moment. She was just like,
yeah, I was like,
she was going hard. Like, she's like,
Clock's
it's dead.
ticking.
Let's start gutting. And I'm like,
yeah, I want to go home.
I just want to take a moment and,
See, that's how I would be.
I get it.
100.
it was the first time. Let's give him a moment to,
Now she's a savage. So
Okay.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Do you have any like PSA for somebody going out in your neck of the woods in regards to safety, what to look out for, do's and don'ts?
oh yeah, like if you're in bear country, make sure you're carrying bear spray and make sure you're carrying appropriate defensive mechanisms. And you should also like know the difference between predatory and defensive attacks, because like if it's a predatory attack, the likelihood of you surviving is very slim, and it's a much dire, like, I mean, any bear attack is a very serious situation, but a predatory attack is the worst situation you can possibly find yourself in. So yeah, be prepared. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to learn some tracks and learn some sign and know when there's a big predator near you, but yeah, be prepared. It's
See,
the
look
Wild
at where
West.
this
out here.
conversation could go. She's like, learn some tracks. So when you're going out on your surveys, you're looking for tracks. You're
Yeah.
doing all that. So you're like super sensitive to your surroundings.
Yeah.
That on
I look for tracks everywhere. I really enjoy it. My boss is a really incredible wildlife tracker. He's really talented. He can like track a grasshopper. It's phenomenal. So he's been teaching me, and ever since, like, once you learn what you're looking for, the whole world changes around you. You just like look, and they're like, there's been so many things go through here that you would have never noticed before.
Ladies, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your night to chat with us. This has been fun, and I hope that this doesn't soil your experiences if you ever get on any other podcast. I hope that this one's at least memorable for you. There is no script here, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did talking with you.
Yeah, it was fun.
You guys are absolutely amazing. I'm going to get my daughter following your IG, because you guys should be an inspiration to women, and I can only hope.
This is actually, like, it never hit me until this is actually one of the best days of our Instagram. Is after the bear attack, my boyfriend was in an archery shop in Calgary, which is like 3 hours south of where we live. And he was talking to the archery shop owner, and there were other people in the archery shop shooting their bows, and there was a dad and a girl there. And the girl said, "Are you talking about the archery twins?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, like, how is she? Is she okay? Like, I've been following her." And his dad explained that he had come across our account and thought that we were respectable young ladies and followed. And yeah, that was one of the moments where it was like,
we are really actually
sweet.
making a difference for some for female hunters and for women out there, which is crazy.
Yeah,
like
it really didn't matter to us until then, and it was like, that is actually so sweet.